All right, for this weekend update, we're going to do a little bit something different. We're going to talk about Dick Munnigheisen's Western Maryland Mosley division, which I enjoy operating on for several years, 4 or 5 years now, and so we'll go over the different parts of his system and how much fun it is to operate. His railroad centers around the operation of the Western Maryland, with Cumberland being in the center of his operating scheme. He has Elkins yard, and then he also has the Baltimore yard. He uses staging for Connellsville and Lurgan. But first, let's take a look at the dispatcher's office. On the right wall, he has a line diagram of the different lines that you're operating and dispatching on, and a fast clock. The board is magnetic, and you can use the train symbols to keep track of trains on this magnetic board. In the dispatcher's desk, you have a phone, a radio, a schedule, a list of trains to operate in their order, and a notepad to keep track of what you're doing if you need to write notes. This train schedule gives you the list of trains in the order of operation on a layout that you can use to aid in dispatching. Another nice feature of the dispatcher's office is you can watch trains go by on the Lurgan line and the line between Elkins and Cumberland, and above that you can see trains coming in and going out of Baltimore. Right now we're looking at the line that goes from Elkins to Cumberland in the front, and behind it is a line that goes from Lurgan Station to Cumberland. We have Baltimore drag, and we've got the Lurgan hopper coming through. Dick also does interchange with other railroads on his layout. Here we're seeing the C&O train that runs from Elkins into Cumberland. He also has Reading trains that run from Lurgan to Cumberland and from Cumberland back to Lurgan. And then he used to have a Norfolk and Western train that ran into Cumberland, but that's been annulled in the last couple of years due to busyness. And then the last thing is a Pennsylvania Railroad interchange that goes into Baltimore Yard. Another part of Dick's layout is he does a real good job with scenery, and one thing that always makes me laugh is his sight gags. And the first time I ever saw him, when I was actually operating in Elkins, and when I saw it, it was that first one you saw there of the coal mine, where they're going to update the sign, and it looks like somebody's getting ready to fall off a board. But you got to look for these on here. He's got them all over the layout. So as I said at the beginning of this thing, Cumberland is kind of the nerve center of this layout, and it includes a MY tower, which is the operator that controls the 4 arrival departure tracks in the yard, and then you have a yard master, a first assistant, and a second assistant. So there's a lot of trains that come through Cumberland, and then there's a lot of trains that come into Cumberland and do work, pick up, swap power, swap into the trains. So it's a hopping place when you're running this railroad. But it is actually a very fun place to operate at. Baltimore is the other major yard on the layout, and this can keep you quite busy too. Normally there's a yard master here and 2 assistants. And what keeps this yard busy is a car float that has to be loaded and unloaded twice a session. The queue, which is a very long reefer train that comes in or goes out depending on which even or odd day. The slab, which is a long train full of plate metal and stuff from the steel mill. And then you have the grain elevator, then coal inbound and outbound also that goes through this yard. So it's a very, very busy place. The other yard on his layout is Elkins, and Elkins, coal is king. You're either getting coal cars out of the yard, collecting coal cars, bringing them into the yard, getting empty hoppers in the yard and send them down to the mines, but this is definitely a busy place. And the other thing that is not quite evident, there's a lot of freight traffic that comes in and out of this yard too. So Elkins is manned by a yard master and 2 yard assistants, one that runs the diggers and one that runs the mine runs. The Spruce branch has a large coal mine, and the Spruce also has many industries that have to be shipped. The Spruce is not run by the dispatcher, it's run by the yard master at Elkins, but can be very busy. There are several industry tracks in Elkins, and then the other thing is the Luke digger. So in Luke, There is quite a few industries, and there is 3 major mines down in this section of the layout. So this is an overall view looking into the Elkins room, and then the next viewer here is going to have looking back into where Cumberland and Baltimore are, and I'm going to finish at that. And from here, I'm going to just let you see other scenes in the layout and a little music before we have puppy playtime. We're out here with the dogs, and they're doing their afternoon, go out and check all the trees out and mark them and stuff like that. But right over here, and I don't know if you can see it in the video, right in the center there, there's a rabbit sitting there. And he's just sitting there eating, and he's looking around, and he's being still. These dogs come out here every day, and there's a rabbit or 2 over there eating, and it's like they never see him. And when they do get close enough, they just run straight into the bushes. Nope. As you saw him now, he runs into the bushes, but nobody saw him until after he moved. The other thing that's funny is that they all have to go out here, and everybody has to get the tree. Doug does a tree, and then everybody else hits the tree. And you'd think Barbie, being a female, she's not going to mark stuff. Oh, she's worse than all of them. If anybody marks some place, she has to go over top of it. Are you large and in charge, Goose Man, huh? Are you? You a good boy? Yeah. You're a good goose man, ain't you? Yeah. Baka, what are you doing, huh? What are you doing, Baka? Goose man?